Hello, welcome to the Turret of Pleasure. Here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione, we're located just outside of Soup, BC. And today, I, Zip Gun, your host for today, the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom and the proprietor of the Turret of Pleasure, going to talk about something I don't talk about much. New vinyl. Wow, who knew? New vinyl. And I got two new vinyls. One of them isn't brand new, and it's not brand new because although the person who made it gave it to me quite a while ago, I saved it because I wanted to be able to listen to it uninterrupted all the way through without too many distractions. And the record is this one, the Sweet 16. Now, really would have helped if we had something on the spine, but a minor quibble. This is a labor of love by my dear friend, longtime friend, Mr. Rob Nesbitt. Mine would be the sun. Now this is, to put it as something of an understatement, an absolute labor of love. This he put out himself. You could call it a vanity issue, although vanity is not something Mr. Nesbitt suffers from terribly, which is a refreshing thing. This is essentially a concept record about unrequited love, drawn from Mr. Nesbitt's autobiography. And I'm not going to go too far into the lyrical details. Suffice to say it's a great story, sort of a concept record. I guess it's a concept record. A little bit of his history in here. He sort of tells the story of the record in this gigantic, fabulous booklet. I mean, and the thing is, this was a project he had cooking in his brain for a while. And mercifully, thank God, he decided he was going to do this right. So he spent a lot of money making this. I know that. And, lyrics, chords in some cases. Now, the other dumb record collector quibble I have is drums on tracks 13 and 14. Sadly, nowhere does it really tell you which tracks are 13 and 14. Now, luckily, each side of this 45 RPM for higher fidelity, and it is, they're really hard to get out because this cardboard cover is made of a kind of cardboard that they haven't made record covers out of since about 1962. This is built to last. It's matte finished, so it is slightly delicate. Don't spill anything on it. And it's a very interesting cover. The cover is very neat. Sort of a picture. Like, I don't know what this is. Rob in his studio, perhaps? Now, if you don't know who Rob Nesbitt is, I guess I should start here. He had a great little career in a band called Bum, who were fairly popular in the what I would call melodic punk rock department in the 90s. I got to record them a few times. Even made a single with them, with me singing and playing guitar along with them, which is a strange project. I should have dug that out and showed it. A one-off thing, I have very little memory of it. I can say this is very strange. The only two moments of my life when I have faced an audience, armed only with a microphone, Mr. Nesbitt was in the band behind me, and these incidents were 20 years apart. Interesting. At any rate, mine would be the sun is the purpose of why we're here, and stylistically it falls into the sort of, I don't know how you describe it without making it sound like you don't like it. I call it a California hardcore sound. California hardcore of the 90s featured high distortion guitars, lots of minor chords, songs about personal experiences, not a lot of politics. And so this fits that quite nicely. Now, Mr. Nesbitt also played in band AK-47, which is a whole different kettle of fish. AK-47 is a Marxist, Leninist, Maoist hardcore punk band. We're talking hardcore. And lyrics are entirely political. There are no slow tempos. There are no minor chords, or almost no minor chords. And Rob was in this band for quite a few years, made a few records with them, and fit in seamlessly. But and some of the influence of AK-47 is in this record. There's a couple of raging hardcore songs, but they got minor chords in them, which I thought was neat. I hear a lot of neat things in this record. I hear cheesy bands from the 80s. I heard I'm sure there's a couple of synth lines in here. It sounded like they were straight out of the, I don't know. I can't really, orchestral maneuvers maybe. I heard a few references to Cheap Trick, which made me happy. Of course, Bum, Andrew Malloy, his foil in Bum, or one of his foils in Bum anyway, the other main co-writer, there's a lot of his influence in this too, and he's a bit more 70s Mott the Hoople, Alice Cooper, and whatnot, and that was reflected in the Bum sound, it had a bit of scope to it. This one, the scope is more, I find a bit more 80s influence. There's one song where there's a vocal chord that I swear he stole from the band America. And I don't mean that as an insult, because it's a great chord. The vocals on this record are amazing. Most of this record was performed by Rob himself. He wisely got himself a great production team in David Carswell, John Collins, JCDC Studios. Everybody in BC knows about this place. They make really good records. All their records rock. And Rob does guitars, vocals, bass, keyboards, drum programming. David Carswell plays some guitars, percussion, keyboards. John Collins plays bass on a couple of tracks. Sean Drabbett, local jazz whiz, plays bass on a track. Graham Watson from Bum on 2 tracks, drums. Jamie Willis from AK-47 on 1 song. But for the most part, this is a solo record. Andrew Malloy wrote 1 song with him on this. Track 5, which I'm not going to go and dig out. Now, I haven't, part of this lack of a central list means that I don't know any of these songs by their names. I just know them like, track 1, side 4 is where the cool America chord is, which is kind of something I have to get used to. He made, I don't know how many of these he made. He spent a lot of money on this because he wanted to do it right. And I really admire and appreciate that. I do believe he sold them all. He wouldn't let me buy this one off of him because this is the kind of thing I love to buy. He had to give it to me because we're old friends, and I sure appreciate that. And it's, if you like bands like any of the California bands, my favorite band of this ilk is a band called Snuff from London, and I hear Snuff in here every so often too. It's great. It rocks. It's in terrific fidelity. If you're a vinyl nut, you're going to love this because it's just such an astonishing package. Each page has like a lot of thought went into this. Now, if I remember correctly, the cover was put together by Rayola, Rayola are a Victoria graphic design company. They have done records that I have played on, and they're really, they're basically top flight as far as design goes. And they did a terrific job on this. And if you like your melodic, what I call minor chord hardcore, let's call it that, you will love this record. I mean, and it's not all one thing. He does diverge, never deviating. Again, look at this book, it's so huge. You got to kind of, and it's going to take up some real estate in your collection. But hey, it's special. Now, going from this wacky thing to something, believe it or not, even wackier, and I can expound upon this a bit because I perform on this record. Now, this is a record called Specimen Box, 4 Walls. Now, if this looks kind of fuzzy to you, that's because, yes, it's in 3D, and sadly I cannot share with you the experience of the 3D cover. Now, this is a double LP, 33 RPM, by my old friend, Larry Boothroyd, who I met when he played bass in Victim's Family, who are a terrific band. If you like No Means No, if you like Pigment Vehicle, if you like my old band Shovelhead, if you like that kind of quirky changecore, these guys are absolutely at the top of the pack. We played a few gigs with them and had lots of fun with them. Very, very nice people. And like in the music business, this happens. I haven't seen Larry now, I think, in at least 20 years, maybe more. Anyways, Larry had this crazy idea, lunatic idea. He was going to get a hold of everybody he knew that he's ever done any kind of music with and get them to participate in a record he was making. And he would send all these people 1-minute snippets of music and say, here, lay a track down and send me the file, one of these wonderful magical things we can do in this day and age. Well, he did this with here's the list of people. If I remember right, it's 100-odd people, 120 people. And I was honored to be asked to be one of them. And I'm in some pretty good company on this record. Got Bruce Ackley, who, if I remember correctly, is in Rova, saxophone quartet. Tom Antona from Alice Donut. I'm going to rattle a Jello Biafra. I haven't figured out what Jello did on this yet. I don't hear his voice, at least not out front. My friend John Wright is on this. Ernie Hawkins from Removal and the Hanson Brothers. David Giffen from Alice Donuts. Andy Kerr, of course, my brother in Amsterdam. Michael Young from Alice Donuts. Steve McKay, who I'm going to guess is the sax player on Funhouse, which is pretty cool. Sissy Schulmeister Antona from Alice Donut. Tim Soylent, his old drummer in Victim's Family, and the drum tech for Roger Waters. How's that for a rock and roll gig? Ralph Spite from Victim's Family. Spit Sticks from Fear. Anyway, on and on and on. This is a whacked record. It was funny because I got one of these little snippets, and I was a little bit flummoxed. I didn't know what to do. So I just kind of put a rhythm guitar track on it and said, I'm one of these guys. If I don't think it needs much, I don't do much. And then he sent me another one, and I can't remember what it took me a while to find myself in this. Now, this is something like 40 minutes of, it's like if the local college radio station had a show of eclectic music where they played everything that was only a minute long and just kept crossfading them into each other without talking because they were too busy smoking their bong. Now, I bought the deluxe version because now I bought this. People said, are you going to get a free copy? It goes, they only made 500 copies. No way. I'm happy to buy this, support the cause. This is on Valley King Records, a label I have never heard of. But then again, there's so many labels out there. This is on what they like to call splatter vinyl. Isn't that cool? It's groovy. The 4 sides are labeled north, south, east, west. Nothing real serious. It's really great fun. It's like, somebody said it sounded like Mr. Bungle or Naked City, and there's that. There's some sublime sort of acoustic playing. There's a little bit of jazz. There's a fair bit of noise. It really does have a little bit of everything on it. And the deluxe version, which I think they're sold out of now, even provided me with this groovy slip mat, because all of us DJ types need our own slip mat. Now, I'm so old, my slip mat is actually a round green piece of felt. So this is cool too. And I was happy to buy this and add it to my, vinyl collection, which is ridiculously overstressed. And it's a really fun record. And there's, of course, a download, which at some point I will upload and stick it into my car and play this in my car, because it's lots of fun to play in the car. So Specimen box, 4 walls. I'm sure it's available as a download. If you like the kind of twitchy punk rock that I'm known for, you're going to really like this record. It's really a cool idea. It was very well executed. The audio sources are from everywhere, and the engineering that was required to get it all kind of the sound of a piece is impressive. You might not notice it, but this, I mean, I think they did this with everybody, where they just sent tracks off, and God knows where the stuff was recorded, and it came back in. So it's really great. It's seamless as far as that goes. So there you have it. New vinyl. Go buy it. Go buy it. If the Sweet 16, I'm not sure if it's sold out, but it's available. And if you're a vinyl collector, it's probably a very worthwhile investment, as well as being a terrific record. And probably the specimen boxes as well. I don't know. I don't know the record investment thing. I buy them to play them. At any rate, that's all I'm going to really say about these, other than go buy them. Thanks for watching. And we'll cook up some more stuff to talk about. I got other stuff. Gonna see how this works out here on the Titanic. And take the COVID seriously. If we all participate properly, it'll go away. We'll get rid of it. And then they'll have a vaccine for it. It'll all be over. But it won't happen unless we all work together. So stay safe. Wear your masks. Stay home for Thanksgiving. And take care of each other. Stay kind. Take care.